2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. It's Lonnie. It's Brian. It's the LB Hour. It's the LB Show, the Pound Hour, affectionately known as that. And today is Thursday, March 2005, 2012. I don't know what day it is. What day is it?
2021.
2021. Well, this is basically 12,000 days into the pandemic, and we're still going strong. The bottom half of me has faded away, but it's already gotten bigger a little bit. I'm not quite certain, but it's coming. I happen to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Do you see light at the end of the tunnel? I think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that, Ryan.
I just woke up though. I stayed up late. You and I were working on a creepy idea for a story, and so I didn't get to sleep till about midnight. So I slept in.
Well, what's creepier than that is actually, Brian had just mentioned to me a moment ago about a story of something that happened when a local DJ basically sounded so bad in the morning that you had to call in and talk to the guy because you thought that, or you went in. Did you go down there, or what did you do?
No, I called. I was gonna go. I was ready. I was working at a group home, and I listened to the radio, and the guy that was really sharp in the morning, 6 in the morning, and he was doing a thing called Just 1 Minute, and we were about 3 minutes in, and he was slurring his words a little bit, and he was not continuing. He would talk and then not say anything. So I called at the break, and I said, "Are you okay?" Because I just had a long night, man. Thanks for calling. And then he was sharp after that, but it sounded like
I thought he had stuff, and yeah,
I thought he had a stroke. I swear to God.
And I can only laugh at this because I've had the stroke and I understand.
If anybody would understand that,
I think it's sad. It's funny, but what's funny about it is that people don't understand when you have. It's very, very important that if you know somebody is having a stroke, you check on them. There's the acronym FAST, which is basically your face, your ass, I can't top of my head. I know what it is, but fast, act fast. It's a whole facial recognition and your speech.
Yeah.
And everything. You just got to make sure people are okay. And it's very important. That's because you save lives. And since I had my stroke, many people, because of me, I've been not because of me, but I've been promoting that for the last few years. About how to check and on people to make sure they're having a stroke. It's like I do this hashtag check the pressure, and people they literally have been paying attention to that, and they go to their doctor now because they know a younger man who had a stroke and was so bad off that it happens. I gotta. My dog just hurt himself somehow. I'm not sure. That's weird. But either way, no. When you have a stroke, you don't know if you have a stroke. You really don't know. We sat there, and the week before I had my stroke, oddly enough, my sisters and I were all walking the lake. And my sister, my older sister, her face had this paralysis. And she was like, and so all of a sudden we were like, hey, sis, are you having a stroke? I mean, we were so stressed out about it. We thought she was having a type of stroke, and it wasn't. It was her face was frozen. It was the damnedest thing ever.
Yeah.
Just your muscle has, I can't remember what it's called, and I wish I did remember because it's like your face has a minor stroke. But
a guy I knew that was in a heavy metal band in the 80s. Now he's an older guy, and he's older than me even, believe it or not. He has Bell's palsy, which gives you the appearance of a stroke.
Yeah. That's the Bell's palsy is probably, that is Bell's palsy. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Because
he talks like this. He said,
you're
in 84, but he said it's going to pass. It's he'll get through it. It wasn't a stroke because people were worried. It's like,
that's what I was referring to, Bell's palsy. I just forgot the term in the morning. I'm not that bright, but it's Bell's palsy. Exactly. It was like, she was like, and she doesn't have Bell's palsy, but it was like she did temporarily.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a foreshadowing of one of the kids in the family having a stroke, which is really odd because like I said, that was the 1 week prior to, I just come back from a trip from to my dad down in Arizona before. That was the last time I saw him before he died. And then there's 4 of us kids, and we all went to go walk the lake, and her face froze, and we're like going, "Are you okay?" And there's a picture of us out there on Facebook of all 4 of us, and it's pretty cute. But she's like this. She's hiding her face because she doesn't want to be seen, you know. And I was totally, sister, you're taking some aspirin right now. You need to take some aspirin because my dad actually, it's funny, not funny. It's interesting. My father actually called me once from the job site. Him and I own a business called Convenient Lube, and we used to service vehicles, do oil changes and so forth. And he called me out he went with a client who was having some issues with their car. So my dad went for a ride with him, and my dad called me and says, "I'm having some issues talking, and I can't. They don't understand what I'm saying or something like that. You know, his speech was just kind of like murbling, you know." And I said, "Dad, that's not right. That's not okay." He was out there, and I go, "You need to go stop and get yourself some aspirin." And he said, "Son, I just took some Tylenol earlier today." I said, "No, no, no." I said, "You don't understand, Dad." I go, the way that aspirin works is totally different than Tylenol or Advil or whatnot, you know." So he took an aspirin, got home, realized that, oh, maybe it's a little more, he felt a little more weirder. They went to the hospital, and the doctor says, "You've had some minor strokes."
Wow.
And if you hadn't taken the aspirin, you'd be dead. Probably
Wow.
be dead because it thins blood that quick. You know, aspirin thins blood. So if he hadn't taken the thin blood thinner, but because of that, they couldn't do any surgery until later on. They had to like wait like 3 more hours. You know, they had to have surgery. But yeah, he had a clogged artery is what that caused it from.
Yeah.
And that's why he would have a stroke. Oddly enough, his stroke and my stroke were different type of things whatsoever. I mean, mine was something completely different than his. I love my father, but he had 3 packs of cigarettes a day from the age of 18, you know, and then when he quit smoking at the age of 60, I think. So, you know, that's
Did
what.
he eat well? Was he a salad guy, or was he like you?
No, my dad. Well, what do you mean? I ate poorly, but my dad would eat everything. But the worst part about what I would assume was, I don't know, my dad ate. He ate a lot of, I mean, salt,
Yeah.
all his food. And the weird thing about it is that my dad his body could process more and more salt. Didn't matter how much salt you gave him, his body would process it. Didn't bother him at all. It was weird. He had. I have a friend of mine like that. My friend Lance in particular as well. He has the ability to process salt, just go right through it, man, and doesn't raise his blood pressures or anything like that, which is really
Wow.
strange. But yeah, for me in particular, and my grandmother, who's my dad's mother, she died of a stroke actually, but by the same way I did, which was basically her body at about the age of 40 quit processing salt,
Oh, wow.
having the ability to process salt. So we had to. I mean, they didn't know at the time what caused that at first, but she was like, she was eating food, and the food wasn't really. I mean, she wasn't salting anything in particular, but the food was so salty that my mom had told me before that years ago that my grandma used to love wine and cheese, a lot. And she was a petite little thing, but she had a stroke and she hemorrhagic bleed actually. She had a hemorrhagic bleed and died in my grandpa's arms, and it was
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty painful. He was the fire chief of Cowlitz County here for 30 years, but he'd saved all these lives, but having the inability to save his most beloved wife, she just collapsed and dead. That was very, 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 very sad for him. And it was it hurt him. And
Yeah.
After like I said before, after being in the war, having his friends die in his hands and all, that's a hard time for people like that. It's just
Yeah.
it's crazy. But anyways, the stroke my father had was more apt because the carotid arteries were blocked
Oh,
because
wow.
of his smoking and just eating whatever food he wanted for so long. And he ate really he let me rephrase that. He didn't eat super healthy. He ate anything he wanted, really.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
you
only ate with him one time, and that was at the Eagles, and that was just deep fried everything.
oh yeah, yeah. He wasn't.
He
He,
wasn't
he
eating much that night. We were just hanging out. I don't even think he was drinking. I don't know.
yeah. He doesn't drink. I mean,
Uh,
he's like me. He'll have a beer or two. That's about it.
yeah.
It wasn't like a. He's just not. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was very young with him, him and I went drinking together before, which is pretty funny because I'm glad I got the ability to do that. But my dad, at the ripe old age of 17, he took me to fishing with his buddies and all his coworkers. So we went and chartered a boat out of Long Beach, Ilwaco, and there was like 15 of us, and we would do this every year, a couple times, at least once a year, not twice a year. We'd go down to there, and we had a place down there at the beach, so we'd go down there, and we'd all just start drinking and go down to this place called Mary's Pub, and mind you, so I was 17 and I got to go in the pubs and
Wow.
drink with all the men. It was awesome. They didn't care. My dad was all for it because he didn't. I mean, he knew I wasn't going to go get crazy because he was with me and stuff.
Yeah.
And but we would drink, go to the go-karts and race, and then go back and drink and go to the go-karts and buy these hamburgers that were the size of half a friggin' table, man. I mean, remember Tut on a Bun?
Oh, yeah.
A place called Tut on a Bun was they had made those exact type of hamburgers where they'd feed 30 people. It was like a big, just giant. So Mary's Tavern was that way. And I was 17, 18, 19. We'd go there and drink, and it was fun. I mean, but my dad at that point, I did see him actually, would drink a little more than he was probably could ever, should ever, like one of those with all his friends. It was no big deal, but he always maintained, even when, mind you, I did see him a few times as a child, actually, where he drank a little too much. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess it's funny because he never did that in front of me, but I do remember I went and lived with him one time, well, multiple times in Seattle. And when I was a bad boy, I had to move to see my dad. I had to go up to Seattle and stay there for a while. But but I remember literally him in the bathroom because he had two bathrooms, one in his bedroom and one in the main room. Well, he couldn't do it in his room, but I remember him going in the bathroom, but he came from the other side of the house, basically praising the porcelain god. And
Wow.
yeah. Well, he was in the car business. He managed car dealerships and stuff. So, it would happen where they would go out and his coworkers and stuff would have a drink or two after, but he came home and I'm like, wow. Not good. That was some pretty funny, not funny, but not a whole bunch, but just a couple times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A couple times when he drank, he do the too much. He never. My family, we're a very tight family, so it was like my uncles and him would, 4th of July, they're all together. It's a big family, so we can do whatever they want. We had some pretty outlandish. Every 4th of July was a family reunion, so
Wow.
it was fun, for years and years and years until my uncle decided that people would say, because he had a big property on the Klamath River, and it's a very beautiful place, and so he would say, come on down, bring your RVs, whatever, you're welcome to stay for a day or two. People would take their RVs and they'd come down a couple days early, and then they'd leave a couple days late, and then it came like a week early and a week late, and that was like a whole friggin' month. People were trying to come to Longview to stay at his place,
Wow.
Yeah, take advantage.
Kind of how it works, though. We're humans. That's our nature.
Yeah.
You know.
Give an inch, take, or give
One
minutes
day
to take
becomes
them out.
3. Yeah, one day becomes 3. Comes a week. Comes 2 weeks.
Yep. Well, so and he couldn't say no. He's just a
Yeah, good
really
guy.
well-hearted guy, and they were getting taken advantage of. So, but I love and I miss those days because the family reunion stuff is just I love I live for the family. That's the thing about me. Matter of fact, I've got this my backyard being worked on right now, and that purpose of that is to get grass in there, and then in the summer we will have not a family reunion, I don't think, but I will have some a band here. I'm at parties. I'll do a band here, and I will do some croquet if I can.
Yeah.
There's enough room for that, and a couple picnic tables and stuff. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's fun to me. That's good times for me. Not to.
That's an exciting project as you head into the nicer weather in the next few months.
Yeah, and
It's kind of interesting as we were talking about the hare, the owl, the turtle, the squirrel. So you had to be the hare to come up with the harebrained idea. You're going to turn your backyard into a wonderland, kind of a fun place.
Well,
and then you're having to be the owl to think it out. And then you got a really good squirrel working for you. He's a good.
Yeah, I got a couple squirrels. Yeah,
Good squirrels.
Jokey and what we say, Jokey and Busty. But Jokey and Busty, yeah, there's some damn strong squirrels. And
I noticed them being squirrels where you start talking about an idea and they're already thinking of how to do it.
Yeah, and I have a bad. We talked about it the other day, and then I went and did it. I'm like talking to them, and then I have another idea about something else, so I stop and talk to them, and next thing I know, we're on another project for the neighbor, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
why I do that? Because now, it's not even Jokey said, hey, he goes, you're paying me to do this. I'm like, yeah, I know, but
wow. That's
yeah.
kind of nice. So you're paying for the neighbor to get some work done. That guy's a great guy, and he's always working on his place. So.
Yeah. No, not that one. The other one.
Actually. Oh, the other
but
one.
Doesn't matter. He's still a great guy. Yeah. He just.
Both neighbors are good.
Yeah, but they have a barn that's falling on my property a little bit, and so I was talking to Jokey and then about.
Well, that's the one I mean. Those guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy's cool. He has the barn, and he was saying somebody had laid a water pipe that also has an electrical wire going through it. So I remember.
Yeah, what's up with that? But that's 1940 or something when they. Yeah. I don't know when they built that actually, but that's not that smart. Yeah, can't be have a water.
I would think it's not. I don't know a lot about it, but it just seems a little off.
Well, I think regardless of today or yesterday, I think electrical current still runs the same way. If you put water through the pipe, you're going to have a problem. I don't think they had water that actually they used it for, unless they're doing a hydro dam in the backyard.
It's possible the water pipe wasn't even being used as a water pipe. It was just being used as like a conduit or something. It just looked weird to the guy. It kind of made him think, made him pause for a minute.
Yeah. Well, speaking of pause, I want to go back to what we're talking about as far as strokes, because I do not. A lot of things you're going to hear when I talk about things in particular, I do not take them lightly. I make light of the situation, but I don't take light. I make light of the situation, but I do not take them lightly. I do that because we've been through a lot in this world. When people have heart attacks, people have strokes. It's serious business, and make sure you take care of yourself. So, if I didn't, I wouldn't be here. It's some crazy stuff. But yeah. I think strokes, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. Actually, maybe just a couple of them. But I'm kidding. But it is literally like taking this laptop here. Let's say you're the laptop, and you throw it in the ocean. All the wires and everything, you get the corroded water from the ocean, salt water, and then bring it back in there and turn the computer back on, assuming it's going to work. And you have to rewire everything, and it just doesn't work the same. It doesn't. Will not. There's no way. Because half the wires are corrupt, and you've gotten salt and water and everything inside the computer. It's not going to freaking work. That's what it's like for your body when you have a stroke. It's just not connection. The connections are gone. Some of them. Yeah. Some of them, Some of them still work, ladies. Some of those connections still work, but a lot of them are fried.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
Well,
But
luckily with the morning DJ, it was just a hangover, but he had all the signs because he would pause too long. And he did have a 1 minute segment and it was going into seriously.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And he was getting the scores wrong and the
Okay.
teams. He was mentioning the team names a little weird and it's a lot of pauses. And I thought, this guy's in trouble, but it turned out he was fine.
Did you know him at the time, actually?
No, I only listened to him. He was the morning guy. So, and this was a Saturday morning and
and
it was off.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool because you did. I mean, we all know some DJs here and there, whatever, but you didn't even know him, and you're just like, I care about this guy, and so,
Yeah.
you know.
We're such a small town, and I was worried about him. Then I thought I did have a fleeting thought. I'll just go there, and then I'll finish the show for him. It'll be my opportunity.
Yeah. There you go.
But he was fine. And then I saw him a while later, maybe this was 95, 96. Within the next year, I saw him and we joked about it. So,
By the way, ladies and
rough
gentlemen,
night.
I keep playing with my hat, and I'm sorry about that. It's just not sitting on straight. And I keep goofing up, so I'll leave it alone.
I think if you hear a guy on radio that sounds like something's wrong, call the station. Make sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because and a lot of times there's nobody at the station listening to them in particular.
Yeah, it was just him at the station. 6 in the morning on a Saturday.
Yeah, especially. Yeah, the radio stations around here are all, honestly, I'll say they're all damn good people. And they're actually there. It's the DJ. When you hear a guy talking at KLG, he's really there. It's not pipe.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's not like there's a big team. It's just one person. I mean, they know what they're doing, so they got it figured out, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like a CBS or NBC where they've got a team of people. Or actually, even then, I'm not sure how many people they actually have going out, but not many people in the studio half the time, you know? When I did
Especially Saturday morning. I mean, 6 a.m, it's hardly anybody up at that point on a Saturday. So it was just really weird, but then it was over and I felt good about it.
Yeah, no. I know another friend of mine who he did for 17 years probably at the radio. We'll call him Dark Doggins. No. What was his name? You know what I'm talking about.
Is he a real estate agent?
No. But that sounds like him. You're right there.
Yeah, there is a Dark.
Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah. No, this is Dark something else. You know what I'm talking about. He's very tall.
Dark Mermaid.
McBermid. That's
That's too hard.
Dark McBermid. He's a great guy, but
he's kind of getting back into it a little bit. He was doing a football game or something the other night with that crew over at Bi-Coastal.
Yeah, well, that's where he was for years and years and years, and had some of a falling out or whatever they did. I'm not quite certain, but
I don't know.
He was the guy in charge of my engineering when I had my show. He did it for years and years and years. He's always the guy. But he's multi-talented. He can talk on the radio and he can engineer and he can do everything. But you know,
I have a video of him fighting against Marv Albert trying to pull his toupee off. So I don't
know who Marv Albert is.
Marv Albert was one of the greatest announcers, still is, and he was known to wear a toupee, and he got in trouble for biting a prostitute's back. And at that time, so we did a skit where I played Marv Albert, and he tried to pull my toupee off. And we talk about that still when I see him. He liked that.
Tried to pull a toupee off. That's pretty funny, actually. Pretty funny. Yeah. No, but he's a super nice guy, and I know if there's nobody in the studio with him, like myself, or when I was there, I mean, I'm not now at all. But I mean, if he's not working with somebody, he's by himself doing everything, you know.
Oh, I watched him one time. He did all of it. It was like he would be talking. He had these things, and he's doing this, and boom, and grabbing things. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. So if he was to have a stroke, it'd be a few hours until somebody knew because he's had pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah,
slapping on there, you know. I mean, there could be a dead space, but hopefully by then he wouldn't be dead if somebody didn't, you know, hear something go on at the radio station. You know, it's odd. But either way, so if you know anybody in particular who's showing signs of a stroke, and learn these things, guys. It's not hard, but I mean, I had a friend right after I had my stroke, and I've been promoting how to do this. A friend of mine was in a chamber of commerce meeting, actually, in a different city, and all of a sudden, the person talking started, their lips started moving, and my friend goes, "Oh my gosh," because I just posted something in regards to the fast, um, facial recognition and stuff, and speech. She's like, she stopped the meeting, big meeting, and they called 911, and that person was taken out of there, and
Wow.
had a massive stroke in the middle of the meeting. Yeah, that was.
Wow, really?
Yeah, yep. That was the Chamber of Commerce of Woodland, actually. So, but it was yeah, that was my friend Joy who able to recognize that and spot that out, and good.
Yeah.
I'll say
That's
Joy
pretty
to her
cool.
because that she is named Joy, and she helped save somebody's life. So that's cool.
That's
Yeah,
great.
but I've got a few others who have said, "Hey, you know what? Because of you, I've gone to the doctor and got my stuff checked out because I was too chicken shit to do it beforehand, and now I do it because I know that what can happen." I mean, they've had to watch me go through my process. That's why I take photos of it and my progress throughout my everything I do, because people need to know that shit ain't easy. You might joke about it, joke about the stroke, but no, there's no joke about it. I mean,
Oh,
if you survive it, it can be hell, and it can be. Now I can say that, and I can say, hey, you know what? It can be. It's different. Life is different. It's definitely different because it's a challenge to pick your freaking foot up.
well,
Now,
you're a mile a minute guy. It's
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh, I was.
You were doing 3 things at a time, and you were doing a lot of things. You were in 2 meetings at once one time. I was in one of them with you, and you were doing the other one on a phone. So
Yeah, yeah.
we were
Well,
trustees.
that was. Yeah, that was what's that?
We were trustees for the local Eagles.
Oh yeah.
And I remember trying to get things snuck through when you were on the other meeting.
Probably, I bet.
I go, let's vote on this, Jerry. Oh no, let's wait. I go, no, we can do
it. Well, business. I don't know. In
Nothing wrong with that.
No, whatever I'm involved in, basically, it's part of my life, and I like.
Yeah, no, it was great, but it was funny because you were known as having 6 plates spinning at once.
I know, yeah. It's like, well, you want to? They say if you want something done, ask a busy person.
Yeah.
Well, and I was a busy person trying to do everything on my own, but I also had, God bless them, I had more committees and groups that I was either part of or the president of or whatever, and
yeah,
and I don't know how they did it without me after I quit. After I had my stroke, I have no idea. They hired a couple other people, so. But
we were almost able to change the Eagles' name to the Buzzards while you were on a meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, but we weren't able to pull it off. The
Buzzards' Nests. That's
right. Squashed that. Yeah, you squashed that one.
I did squash it when I got back. That's right. But I did. I did make sure that we had to do signs and stuff. And
oh man, you and I both on that one, and then we had our friend Bobby. The 3 of us. He was really into making things organized. We tore it up there for a while. That was fun.
Turned around to the sign now. It says the Eagle's Nest.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's one of the best things. And of course, my only thing was I thought there should be an apostrophe, so I obsessed with that for a while.
Yeah, no, but
sometimes grammar, just let it go. Oh, right, I was going to show you who Marv Albert is. He's Marv Albert. He used to talk like this.
I remember the
Michael
name.
Jordan scored 28 last night, and he was known for his toupee, but this one's a good one that he's got.
Right there?
Yeah, can you see him? He had a...
is that new or old? I don't know.
This is a newer one. When he was younger, he had dark hair, and he's just known as one
of the... there.
Yeah, he's known as one of the top announcers of all time. Marv Albert. And then he got in trouble because he bit a prostitute's back during a... whatever you call it.
Game of charades. A game of charades.
Yes. So
he's like playing charades. Oh, one word, backbiting.
Well, yeah, Mark McDermott is the guy we're talking about the at the Bicoastal, and he was an actor back then a little bit, and yeah, he fit the term backbiting into the skit. It was like this
Oh, did
backbiting has to stop. Yeah.
he? Well, that's kind of funny, but yeah, no. Speaking of which, I wonder how Mark's doing. I haven't talked to him in a
I
while.
don't know. I'd like to. We should have lunch with him because when he first got his, he got his education or whatever in broadcasting school. He was just finished and he was going to apply. He came over and did our show with us, our comedy TV show.
Yeah, I gotta take care of my dog.
Yeah, I'll tell you about
Here,
Mark.
bud.
Mark McDermott is a long
Here, buddy, what's the matter?
local DJ, and he started out, I think it was about 90, 91, and I met him maybe 92. And he did a little TV with us, and then he got into radio, which he did for a lot of years. A lot of years. I think he was in the 20-year range, more than that. Yeah, 92, he got into radio.
Yeah, for some odd reason, my dog started whimpering, like
Wow.
yelped, and whimpering. And he yelped a minute ago, so I wasn't sure what that was. But
He's whimpering and whining. He must be and then I could say either Democrat or Republican and make somebody mad. So.
that's a good one though. No,
Well, I do that. I'll look around the crowd if I'm at a place and I'll decide which I'm going to use. You don't want to make all the people mad, so
you can just say, "Oh, he must be political."
Yeah.
Aha, there you go. And because that way everybody is offended. Because I'm political. Yeah, well,
it's like
yeah.
fill in the blanks because either party has their problems.
Yeah, if you are too far to one side, then you're the problem. Max, come here. Yeah, poor doggy. I'm not sure what's going on. Hey, Chandler. I'm gonna have to call for help because I can't get away from the phone to the TV here.
It's okay.
We'll figure it out. But
Well, I think next week we should start inquiring about the Callus Podcast Network because it's like an hour a week that you can.
I'm all for it. Let's go do it. Let's sign up for it, and then we'll bring this pound hour to
radio.
the radio, to the
Internet radio. Well, that's what originally podcasting was going to be, just audio, but
That's what I thought, but
but you figure it's just as easy to turn on a camera. It's the same, you know what I mean? It doesn't take any more effort in the internet world to just have a camera too.
Yeah, for certain. And
well, Bill Burr's podcast is audio only. I never see him. It really frustrates me. I like to see the guy, like Mike Tyson.
well, it's funny. Yeah, it's
fun to see the guy.
But Bill Burns is ugly, so we don't want to. I'm kidding, but
Billy Blue Balls, he calls himself. That's his nickname.
Billy Blue Balls. Because if you were to pick up going with that Billy
Blue
Going with-
Balls.
going with the Billy Blue Balls. So let's give you a fake name right now. What you call yourself? If you're to say Brian or Heath, whatever you want to go by. Heath the
Was it
Bee.
supposed to be derogatory, like crying Brian?
Yeah, actually, that's a good one. I like that.
Crying Brian, I'm whining about the political scene.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I would say either Lucky Lonnie or Lucky Lonnie. That was Lucky Lonnie, or we could say.
Well,
Laughing Lonnie. Laugh out loud, Lonnie. Yeah, no.
There are people that might say lascivious Lonnie.
Which is
Lascivious. It means he talks about sex a lot. All roads lead to sex.
They may
Yeah.
at that point. I'm not quite certain.
That's the perception some have.
You don't understand.
We have
Okay.
5 listeners, and one of them thinks you talk about women a lot.
Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. And Linda's probably one of the callers or listeners. That's kind of
This
funny.
is not Linda, but we won't use her name. But she says, "Wow, I like it, but you guys, he talks about sex a lot, and you try to avoid talking about it."
Listen, when I was a child, when I was a poor black man, kidding. That's actually a stunt off of The Jerk.
Yeah.
But anyways, when I was a child, literally, I used to go to bed late. And when I go to bed late, guess what I got to listen to every night or so? Or on a certain
Memento?
week. Dr. Ruth Westheimer, sexually
Oh,
speaking,
wow.
you're on the air. I loved Dr. Ruth Westheimer, sexually speaking, you're on the air. Remember that?
She was great. Yeah, and then I saw her on Letterman, and he just had a good. She was funny. That guy.
Dr. Ruth
incredible.
educated me on sex way before I should have known. And I would have said probably what, that 1981 or something? I don't know.
I don't know, but she
No,
was
1985.
very effective.
I'm not quite certain, but anyway, I was born in 73, so I was pretty young, and I was listening to that stuff. I was getting educated early on, ladies, so I know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was just a little oversexed, apparently. I'm not quite certain.
Yeah, and that was before the internet, where you had to listen to the radio to get any adult content.
And I'd like to actually re-listen to that stuff, not for education, but because it was so just neat. She was a fun lady. She was
she was funny and fun, and she had a lot of great information. And she was like, "Get over yourself, people. Let's not have all these taboos that we can't talk about." And she just talked about it. She was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, she's about 5 foot nothing. And
I'm thinking 4'11". I don't know.
Yeah, I would say. And the thing is that she's a beautiful person, but she's not like the most attractive, so somebody like that could talk about what they want, type of thing, and nobody felt like weird about it because they weren't like feeling it. It's, you know what I mean? It's kind of like
well, yeah, if it was a hot woman talking about it, then the word lascivious comes in. We're all listening just because we think she's hot.
Because she's saying that, thinking about whatever. Dr. Ruth Westheimer, I'm sure she thought some pretty amazing things, but that didn't even bother me. I was thinking that's my grandma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's grandma right there telling me that this is how it really, and it was like grandma talking truth.
Yeah. Birds and the bees. The birds and the bees with grandma. It was great. I think it was important that she did that. And it was likable. We liked her.
And if you never know who Dr. Ruth Westheimer is, look her up. I'm not sure how you spell Westheimer, Ruth Westheimer, but
if you get to Ruth W, they're gonna get you there.
Yeah, WEI probably. Westheimer.
West. I think it's West, WEST, and then HEI or.
Is there a T in it? I don't know if there's a T in it, but
Westheimer, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, either way, she was a neat gal, and her podcast. I mean, that was one of the first. Nah, I can't say that. At the time, it was probably the largest podcast that I was aware of. Not podcast, but phone-in radio show that I could think of at the time. I know there was many radio shows prior, but people would call in for questions and say, "Doctor, I've got this problem," and so she'd call in and say, "Well, what you need to do is reach inside the backside and press a button in the anal cavity." Some odd, weird freaking thing, Just She got everybody. And you weren't like you might be like, "Oh my gosh, you can't believe she's saying that," but it wasn't really dirty. It was just.
She was being, technical in a sense. Let's
very technical. Yeah, very technical.
Here she is. She's 92 years old.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, I'll go to the.
Oh, I love her. God bless her.
Yeah, she's 92. That's wild.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad she's still alive.
She had her show, Sexually.
45 books on sex and sexuality. Yeah.
And her show was Sexually Speaking, 80 to.
Sexually Speaking, you're on the air. That's right.
Wow.
I wish I could play a little clip of that, of her saying that, because that's how I sounded she sounded. Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and she was from Germany, I think, right? She's from Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Weisenfeld, Germany.
Yeah, it was like right from the, old school Germany.
Yeah.
And,
she was born Carola Ruth Siegel, and her name's now Westheimer, and it's Westheimer. It's amazing.
Yeah.
German citizen, and then became a United States citizen.
If Dr. Ruth was well, she's around today, but I'm saying is that if she was in her heyday, if her heyday was right now, she would be richer than all get out. You know what I
She
mean?
would be canceled.
Well, yeah. Well, cancel culture. Yeah, maybe. I don't know because she had no problem going to both sides of the fence on stuff, and I don't think she was anti-gay or anything like that. So
No, no, no. She was a pro-human.
yes, very pro-human, very pro health, very pro health, and very pro sexual activity. She believed that, if I remember correctly, um, that sexual activity was one of the best things a person can have on in their whole life. It's good for their heart, it's good for their body,
Yeah.
everything is reproductive, your whole body, because it was like I can't remember how many times, whatever, like an orgasm, a person has an orgasm, their body is rejuvenated, and it's like, I mean, she believed a lot of cool things. But it's like she didn't say, "Hey, you can't do this, you can't do that." It was just like, as long as you're safe and you're in your own home, you can do what you want, type of thing.
Yeah. Well, she was born in 1928 in Germany and moved, probably escaped the Nazis in 41. So think about
Yeah,
that. Yeah. She
yeah,
was a child while Hitler was coming up and they got her out in 1941. So we got lucky they got her out.
yeah.
Think
Well,
about that. Wow.
yeah. Well, think of the two greatest things that came from Germany was, Albert Einstein and Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Yeah.
I mean, both those, the brilliance of them,
Yeah.
the
I'm glad she got out in 1941. That's pretty late. That's things
yeah.
are getting pretty bad
Well,
at 41.
yeah, 40. When did we had 45 was the end of the war there. So
But he was going after people in 30s, late 30s, I think.
yeah,
38, 39, Hitler was starting to do terrible things.
yeah. What year was she born?
1928. So she would have been a child when Hitler came up.
She's like 14. So not. I mean, she was old enough to know this is a bad place. She wasn't a child when she had she went through a lot of stuff. I'm saying this.
Well, she was Jewish or is Jewish. So you're a Jew in Germany in 1928.
Yeah,
That's not good.
yeah. Her best friend, I think, was Anna. What was her name? I'm not quite sure. Sorry. Anne
Her
Frank.
name?
Her best friend's name was Anne Frank, I think. So.
Oh, I don't know about that, but her father.
I'm not. I'm joking but that's bad. But
Well,
Anne Frank, that's the same age. I do believe. I mean, she was in that same. Yeah.
Yeah, her father was killed in Auschwitz in 42. Her mother was also killed in the Holocaust.
Brian, I'll tell you what. People who, I mean, I say some sideways things. I wouldn't ever joke about something like the Holocaust, though, or anything like that. And people have a tendency in America, even right now, today, people wear shirts that say, they're guns, and they say like Auschwitz summer camp or something like that.
Yeah.
I saw some of those in the Washington D.C. Their insurrection they attempted to pull. They had these Auschwitz shirts, and I'm like, somebody ought to beat you down. I mean, literally take your license to live away, because that's just ridiculous. I think, what are they trying to? I don't.
That's just.
What are they trying to do?
That's really actually horrible. But
oh yeah, it's horrible.
Lost both their parents in the Holocaust, so you could tell though she's a survivor. She's a tough gal. She's
a brick, man. But she's smart, and she's a tough broad, obviously. And but somebody decided to give her a license to talk about sex. That was amazingly funny, and it was way before its time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whoever greenlit that deal, that's a
somebody opened the green doors. What it was, I think.
Yeah.
When I say that, pornography, of course, started in. I mean, it all said it, but pornography in theaters and actually in mainstream started in the 70s, early 70s.
Yeah.
With Marilyn Chambers and the Green Door, Behind the Green Door was that show, in the movie, the first X-rated movie. But that's about the time, particularly when she started talking about sex, and it became public. I mean, so that show, I mean, was okay. They'd taken the sex out of the theaters, I think, in the 80s. They took the sex out of the theaters, and she got to put that on the radio. So it was pretty apropos, I think, for the timing. It's just they, I don't know.
Well, the 80s, actually, the 80s had a lot of sex scenes. I think the 90s it got out because there was like the Big Easy was this wild kind of a
No,
explicit.
80s had this. The 80s had a lot of sex scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
But they quit putting X-rated movies in the theaters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they were doing that. They did like a premiere for X-rated movie at the same one as they had Aladdin, not Aladdin, but Disney movies and stuff. You know what I mean? They had like this premiere parties and stuff, and they're doing X-rated movies in the regular theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you sat down in the sticky stuff, you weren't sure if it was soda pop or not. but still.
In 1980, I think it was, I was going to Central, and Brian Thompson, the actor, he was in charge of getting the movies for us or something. So he got us Deep Throat, and there were 200 people in there watching Deep Throat.
So you did get that?
Yeah, he was kind of a progressive, interesting guy, and I was like, I don't think you can do that. That doesn't sound right. Porno at a college. He said, no, we're a college, we can do it. And there were a lot of people in there. Maybe 200 people watching.
Yeah, no. So if you are unaware of that movie called Deep Throat, there's a girl who had she had a physical impairment, or she had something stuck with her sexual glands. They were born with the sexual glands in the back of the throat. And
is that what it was? Yeah. I watched it for about 5 minutes and said, okay.
Her clitoris was stuck in the back of her throat.
Yeah. And my buddies and we watched it for 5 minutes, said, this is the creepiest thing I've ever done. There's all So we went to a kegger.
Yeah, I would thought so. And I went to, having said that, going and watch some some giant porn on the big screen. That's always been like that. You just get like, I've never seen that before because that's my time. I mean, they got out in the 80s and I became a teenager and so forth before that. Or after that. But what certain things, having that, like, I think like Pee Wee Herman, of course, was busted watching something on the big screen like that. And I can't fathom watching something sexual like that on the big screen. But
that was creepy.
One thing that I did do, I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna tell your friend here who thinks that I'm talking too sexual. But I'll tell you what. One thing I did do was there was a video in the 80s, 1980, that came out there, 81 probably, and it was a little boy, probably 12. He goes into this. He goes into a place and he goes into like a amusement park of some sort, and he goes inside there. And when the amusement park goes in there, he goes and he sees these girls, like they were they're behind the walls, and the wall opened down, put a quarter in or whatever, and they put on a little peep show, And so the peep show, do you remember the song I'm talking about by any chance?
No.
An 80s video with the peep shows, and it was quite interesting. But anyways, he would do that. So that really, really interested me in how they would do these peep shows. And so I moved to Seattle years later, and there was a place called something Mary, something or other. On First Avenue, right there by Pike Place Market, for 50, 60 years.
Wow.
It was the first strip joint they ever had. And anyways, you put a quarter in it, and the wall would rise up, and you could see girls dancing. It was the craziest thing in the world. And I had to, because it said peep show, yada, yada, yada. I had to go in and see the peep show and that's exactly what happens is you You go in there, put your quarter in the machine, and the wall rises up, and then you can see the people dancing and stuff, you know. And then as the wall comes down, you're like going, you're like, what the heck? And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. What's the matter with you? I know. I have to get my dog. Hang on. Chandler! Chandler, come here.
Max is upset because he hasn't got his second
Chandler,
stimulus.
come here.
Let me do that one again. Max is upset because he hasn't got his second stimulus
I
check.
think he's got.
We might have a canine emergency here.
Yeah, might have one. I think we have something in the throat here.
Okay. Well, we were talking about deep throat, and then your dog gets a throat problem. That's really weird.
Got you. I got you.
Max
Hey, Chandler!
Chandler is his butler, and he'll be helping with Max the dog. Now my cat just showed up, so things are going on. There's my cat, wants to be in the show. Cat's name is Snickle Fritz.
I think something's stuck in his
That
throat.
was rude.
No, your cat's not Snickle Fritz.
It's my cat's name is Snickle Fritz, and
Right,
it walked right in front of the camera.
Talking about the dog. There you go. He's jealous.
No, but my cat just showed up while you were talking about us. I gotta feed this cat less. It's gained 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, how's Max doing? Is he gonna make
He's
it?
not good. I'm not sure what's going on. I think something's stuck in his throat, actually. I think, and I need
So
to.
is Chandler handling it?
No, he is not. Unfortunately, he's not responding to me. I need to get him down here, and I need to do that. I think my guess he is in his bedroom playing with his online boyfriend. Apparently, I'm kidding. No, he's doing probably some type of a virtual reality. So, I'm
Oh,
not
okay. I got you.
we've
Well,
been
here's
after-
you were talking about the Peep Show, and in 1986.
Yeah, so it was and that was that do you know what I'm talking about? The 80s video?
Well, there was a video in 80. I wanted to show you. You were talking about the Peep Show, but there was a video Madonna did in 86 that was Open Your Heart, and she was in a Peep Show, and the guy had the wall came
Yeah.
up. That's
Yep,
a
that wasn't
picture
it,
right
but,
there. Yeah, that was good stuff. Okay, but I'm not sure what that's about. Yeah, so let's go back. Open Your Heart, and she was the guy went in there and turned on, put the quarter in, and the thing came up. It was an interesting thing. I didn't know really about that Peep Show concept.
Yeah, either did I. Well, that's what we learned. We learned in the 80s. It was it was let's see here. So Chandler, my butler, is coming.
Oh, good. Well, a friend of ours, Dave Grumboys, was talking about sexual attitudes and all that, and he said pornography, the $1 billion industry that no one uses. Nobody
Right.
uses it, but somehow it's that popular. It's like a secret, and so hush hush.
Yeah. So the song I was referring to was "She's a Beauty."
Oh yeah, that had a Peep Show too, huh? By the Tubes.
I think so. Yeah, if I remember
She's a
correctly.
beauty, yeah. She's 1 in a million girl.
1 in a million, girl.
And then
And
why
yeah,
would
why would I lie? Why would I lie? Yeah. Well, I think that I'm gonna have to get off my thing here, but something's stuck in Max's throat, and he's whining really badly when he's in pain when he moves. So I'm gonna have to figure this out. I can't do it like no, with one hand. I was massaging his throat, but well, he's over there. Max, here, buddy.
Oh, sometimes real life happens while you're on the
Yeah, it does. Matter of fact, let's pound this out, Brian.
pound it out, and then you pound out his whatever's in his throat.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Talk to you in a bit. Let's see.
Whoa, whoa.
Hey, there you go. Say me. Ah,
Yeah.
I got you. You folks have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you. And hope he's okay.
Yeah, me too.